In this video, we're going to take a look at brush clipping using geometry mode. Now, brush clipping is a way that you can cut through your brushes as if you had a big cutting laser. It's a very cool feature and allows you to create some very interestingly shaped brushes. So let's start off by taking a look at our level where we've got this great big open room. We've got this kind of interesting column right in the middle, and we're going to proceed to cut this column into a lot of different pieces. In fact, we'll probably have to make a few copies of this column to get all the different demonstrations that I have in mind shown. I'll begin by going into geometry mode, and let's take a look at brush wire frame mode. We'll open up our modifier window, and we'll expand clip, or we'll hit the clip radio button, which is only available because we are in object selection mode. Now, as soon as we go into the clip modifiers, we get some settings here. We get B flip normal and B split, which we'll explain here in just a moment. Now, the secret to making a clip, to cutting through your brush using clipping, is that you need an orthogonal view, at least to start out with. So I'm going to start off by going into the side view, where we can see the big subtractive brush of our room. We can see our column. And how this works is we need to create two clipping markers. And between those markers are going to be stretched a line that we will use to define the plane of our cut. So I'll begin by holding Control and right-clicking, and that's going to create one of our clipping markers. And this clipping marker can only be created in an orthogonal view. So you'll be creating this in the top, front, or side view. You won't be able to create these in perspective, though you can manipulate them in perspective if you need to. Now let's hold down Control and we will right-click again, and this will create a second clipping marker. Also notice it has this little tiny perpendicular line coming out from the line that connects these two. This is the normal, and this allows you to control which side of the line is which will be important here in just a second. But before we even worry about that, let's just click Apply and see what happens. So we need to select our brush, click Apply, and boom. Now, Logan, can you tell us what just happened?
Well, it's taken everything on the normal side of that clip marker and deleted it.
That's right. So it had our laser cut. It cut right through in the line that we defined, and then everything that was on the side of the normal got completely nuked. Now, to drive that home a little more, let's take a look at the demonstration again. I'm going to hold down Control, and we will right-click again, and right-click again while holding Control, and that will just create two new clipping markers. Let's move those around a little bit. Now, what I'm going to do is activate B flip normal, and what this will do is internally flip the normal. You'll notice I toggle this on and off. That normal isn't really doing anything. It's just where the normal will be calculated in terms of the operation. So let's select our brush again and click Apply, and now we lose what's on the opposite side of the normal. It just chops it off. All right, now let's create some more clipping markers. And for this third example, just to kind of show you something, I'm going to hold down Control and we'll click out here. Then I'll hold down Control and click out here. So notice my line does not cut through our brush. I'm also going to turn on the split operation. So we're actually going to do a couple of things at once here. Let's select our brush and hit Apply and take a look at what just happened. In the first place, we didn't lose anything. Both of our pieces of brush still remain. All we did was cut through it. But also, even though our line didn't pass through our brush, we see that this is still split up. Now, Logan, can you tell us why that is?
Well, it's not that the clip markers define the scope of the clip operation. They instead simply define a line, and that line goes out in infinite directions in both directions out from the clip markers. The two markers merely allow you to control the angle of that line.
That's right.
That line extends to whatever brushes happen to be selected.
That's exactly right. Now, in this particular case, you can see that we have two separate brushes. We can move them around however we want to, and I'm going to use this to our advantage. So I have two pieces of brush here. I'm going to select them both. Let's hold down Control and I'll right-click over here and right-click over here. We can select both of our pieces of brush at the same time and click Apply. And notice how we can clip through multiple brushes at once just by having them selected, just as a quick demonstration. So that's a look at clipping in terms of two dimensions. We've been in this orthogonal view the whole time, so we've been clipping in 2D. No matter how we rotate our clipping markers, our clipping plane is always, in this case, going to be aligned down the y-axis. So what if we wanted a clipping plane that was irregularly oriented in some way? Well, we can do that by placing a third clipping marker in another viewport. Before I do that, let's go ahead and reopen our demo level. And here we go. So everything's back to normal. What I'm going to do is hold down Control and right-click on one side of the column. Oh, we need to get into geometry mode, Zach. Don't be silly. So we'll go back down to clip mode. I will hold down Control and right-click on one side of the column. And I'll hold down Control and right-click on the other side of the column. So now we have two of our clipping markers in. But to get a true three-dimensional plane, we need a third clipping marker. I'm going to shift us over to the top viewport, hold down Control and right-click a third time, and something very interesting happens. We get this shaded polygon. And if I jump back over to perspective view, we can see this polygon. It's actually shaded on one side, and no matter how I move my clipping markers, you'll notice that normal always maintains orientation to the polygon, which is very handy. Now, this polygon is very much like the line being used to define a plane. The split does not take place within the scope of this polygon. In fact, the split's going to take place infinitely across any brushes that are selected when we fire off the command. So what I'm going to do is select our column. And just to kind of help you visualize what's going on here, I'm going to aim the camera right down this plane. Now, currently I have split activated and B-flip normal. I'm going to turn off split, and let's go ahead and also lose B-flip normal. So what we should end up with is that the part of the column that is on the side of the normal should be removed. Let's go ahead and hit apply, and that's exactly what happens. And you can see how that three-dimensional plane was used to slice along. So with that, let's go ahead and see our final result by building our geometry. Let's go into lit mode, and we can see the remnants of our plane sticking up. And let's close out our modifier window. Let's get out of geometry mode altogether, and there you go. So that is a quick look at clipping, not only 2D clipping, but also 3D clipping. A lot of different things you can do with it. You can make a lot of irregularly shaped brushes, and that is going to wrap things up for this video.